it's time for raspberry fruit jellies. Now, I'm just as excited because I've loved raspberry jellies since I was a kid, and the technique for making them is a little bit different. I'm starting with half a cup of raspberry puree, and I'll add that to my pot. Now, to make this puree, I took frozen raspberries, thawed them, and then I pureed and strained them, so that way there are no seeds. I do find that frozen raspberries work best because once thawed, all the juices come out of them, and of course, that great color. To add to the raspberry puree, to balance out the flavor and also help the setting, I'm adding 1/3 cup of applesauce. Make sure you're using unsweetened applesauce. And I'll put that in my pot. I actually want to switch to a whisk and heat this up on medium heat. The reason I cook on medium heat is so that I don't overcook the raspberry. I want to keep that flavor. So before I add the sugars, I want to bring this up to a simmer. Now that my raspberry mixture has just started to simmer, I can add the sugars. 2/3 cup of white corn syrup. And 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar. So I'll whisk this while it's simmering on medium heat until it reaches 225. So that is a lower temperature than the caramels or the lollipops, but I have the addition of pectin at the very end. That's what gives a fruit jelly its proper consistency. And you also have a nice flavor balance between the sugar and the tartness that's already inherent in the raspberry puree. Now, it does take about 8 to 10 minutes to hit that 225. But just keep whisking. You don't want the raspberry to stick at the bottom. Oh, this smells so good. It reminds me a little of raspberry jam. Let me check the temperature. There we go, I'm at 225. So I'll take it off the heat while I add my pectin, 1 pouch of pectin. This is liquid pectin, so you always add it at the end of your candy making, or if you're using it for jam, your jam making process. I'll stir that in, and then I return this to a simmer, and this only takes a minute. Keep stirring it. Oh, there's such a deep, intense color to this. There we go. I'll take this off the heat, and I have my pan already prepared, an 8-inch pan greased and lined with parchment, and I just pour it right in. Look at that glorious color. And the great thing about these jellies is they take no time to set, only an hour at room temperature. Once they've set, they're ready to be portioned. Lift these out of my container. You can really see the benefit of lining your square pan with parchment. Makes it easier to peel away the parchment. Get a tray ready, and I find I get 36 really nice portions from this one pan. So I cut in half and then cut each half into thirds and do the same thing the other way. That equals 36 squares. And I'll just transfer these onto a tray. I just love the look of these jellies, and you know they have that pure raspberry flavor to match that vibrant color. Whenever I make my raspberry fruit jellies, I have 3 different styles for that final presentation. The first is dipping the jellies in melted chocolate. Now, because you store the jellies at room temperature, there's actually a special way you have to treat the chocolate before you can dip them. This process is called tempering. It allows the chocolate to set up at room temperature and create a nice satiny finish. So what I have here are 2 bowls. In total, 10 ounces of dark chocolate. Now, this is couverture chocolate, designed for baking, melting, and exactly this, setting on top of candies. I've divided it up, so I have 7 ounces here and 3 ounces here. What I want to do first is melt my 7 ounces of dark chocolate. I've got a pot of barely simmering water. For melting this chocolate, I want to hit 113 Fahrenheit, but no more than 122. My chocolate's about half melted, but I can still see pieces, so I know it's not near 113 yet. There we go. I've hit my temperature. And now, what I have to do is actually cool down the chocolate. And I do this with that reserved 3 ounces. And between adding the solid chocolate to the melted and the action of stirring it, I can control the temperature and cool it down to 82 Fahrenheit. When you're tempering chocolate, you're bonding the cocoa butter molecules together. That gives chocolate the strength to set at room temperature. So this method of adding the unmelted chocolate to the melted is called seeding. You're seeding it with the solid cocoa butter. You want to keep the chocolate moving, so you don't just let it sit there. All right, now that I've reached 82, I take it back to my water bath, and this part only takes a second. I want to warm it back up to 88. So the key to tempering chocolate so that it sets at room temperature is heat it up, cool it down, and then just warm it again a little bit. Boy, and that's as quick as it is. When I take it off the heat after warming, I give it one last stir, making sure those cocoa butter molecules are all nicely bonded. And I'll grab my jellies. And the chocolate will stay in this state, dippable and tempered, for a good 10 to 15 minutes. So it is enough time to dip all of your jellies if you wanted to. You want to just roll your jelly in there. Make sure it's completely coated. I'm using truffle forks, which are designed exactly for this activity. But you can use any fork if you wish. And set it down and let it do its thing. It'll just set up in a matter of a few minutes. The chocolate's warm, but it's not warm enough to melt the jelly. And this really creates a nice airtight seal. So your chocolate dipped jellies will keep actually for up to a week or even a little longer. The chocolate dipped version of these raspberry jellies reminds me of one of my favorite candy bars. That combination of the bitter dark chocolate and then the sweet fruit center, heaven. Once you get the hang of this technique of tempering, and this method, this seeding method, really is the easiest way, you realize you can kind of chocolate dip anything. Pretzels, those sea salted caramels, whoa. There we go. Now, while this 10 ounces is the perfect amount of chocolate to dip this entire batch of fruit jellies, I want to show you two other styles. This next one is just like Turkish Delight. And so all I do is coat the jellies in cornstarch. This keeps them from going sticky so that you can pack them in a container. And that look is just like Turkish Delight. You do want to tap any excess cornstarch off. That looks absolutely adorable. So now, for the final style, the gumdrop style. I've got regular granulated sugar, and just like the Turkish Delight version, I roll these in the sugar just to let them stick. These candies, once dipped in the sugar, will only keep for a couple of days. Because the jellies are all natural, they don't have any setting agents or additives. The sugar will dissolve, and they might get a little sticky on the outside. There we go. So now you get the idea that with one simple candy, you've got 3 different presentations. And here the jellies are once the chocolate has set. Okay, I will be honest, I think the chocolate dipped ones are my favorite, but here you have it. 1 raspberry fruit jelly, 3 different ways.